So I need to ask you like a more of a fan question because I saw a few months ago the reel when you met Israel at the Zanya.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Oh man, finally,
Dude, nice to meet you.
Sorry, Shawn. Like you don't know what we're talking about. But
here's the thing, Gian.
I got it.
This is why you're on the show. Matteo has been dying for this. This is his way. Matteo, the floor is yours. Take it away, man. Do your thing.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Hello. Welcome to the Inkpulp podcast. Once again, Matteo and I are back. And this time, I'm going to try to do your name proper. Gian is with us. Is that correct?
Yeah, Gian.
Okay. And how do you say your last name?
Galang.
Gian Galang.
Okay. I mean, there's probably like a more proper Filipino way to say it, but that's how I grew up here, so that's how we say it, Gian Galang. Yeah.
Well, and where is here? Are you in the States?
Yeah, so I'm in New York.
Okay. Oh, I know.
I'm kind of all over. I was born in LA. I lived in Hong Kong until I was 10, and I grew up in Virginia. But I've lived in New York for the past 15 years. So.
Also, you studied in Virginia, right?
Yeah, I went to VCU.
Yeah. And I read. I don't remember where. You have George Pratt as one of your teachers.
Yeah. He was a huge influence.
Man.
Oh yeah, he's a mess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what kind of what he was teaching there? Like what did he talk to you?
So I double majored in illustration and graphic design, and George Pratt was obviously in illustration, but he really changed, like really in a big way, changed how I look at actually painting. Like he made it from the act of painting to the concept of mark making, because that's how kind of George puts it down. And he would always do demos like in every class, and he really put that that seed in my mind about like drawing is not just about, or painting is not just about like the single medium, but like using kind of whatever you can to create a feeling. That's kind of how George would do it. And man, he has so many good like little lessons. I only had him for 2 classes, but he just has so many good lessons. Like one of them was he was saying like whenever you're working, you should be working in a way that if you stop at any point, the whole image is pretty much there, and it's basically like how far you refine it or not. But like if you guys ever saw George work like in real time,
no,
dude,
never had the pleasure, unfortunately.
I took a workshop with George when I was at SCAD. George came in. Actually, he was there for a whole semester as a guest professor. Yeah. But we also hung out a lot, me and him, outside of class. So I got to like work. Like we would sit around and just work together. And he's just a well of knowledge and just an amazing guy.
Yeah, he's like, it's kind of like he lives the life of if you were able to just be in your studio and just keep experimenting every day. I feel like that's kind of like how George works, because he's always doing demos, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this time, and so he's kind of like, I mean, I don't fully know how his full gamut of projects, but it just feels like he's unencumbered by things like deadlines or it has to look like this or whatever, and he's kind of like he's like a pure kind of artist.
I wonder if that's what teaching affords him. When I was teaching, that was kind of like my theory, was like, hey, I'll be able to like free my art of everything and do it on my own. But where I was teaching, they just wanted every second of your life, and it just didn't work like that. But George might be in that situation. That's a nice place to be. Yeah,
because I mean, at least I haven't had George as a professor for years, but sometimes he would be working on like commissions or stuff in class, but you'd just be learning because he's like
Right.
actually doing it. So yeah, it's like he was always just working. So
Yeah, that was those were the good old days of teaching. College has changed.
Oh, and by the
it's
way, I think they just released a new or sketchbook or art
yeah,
book.
they did. Yeah,
like,
George just had
on
a Kickstarter. Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
still
yeah.
available for late pledges or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
that's a good
if
looking
anyone is
book.
interested, oh yeah,
That's a good
absolutely.
book.
I bet.
But Gian, I'm curious. Like you majored in illustration and graphic design? Was your goal always to be like a poster artist?
No, no. So I was actually an art director in advertising for 7 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Because so I always loved drawing and painting. That was like my first thing. Like a lot of artists. And as I was approaching college, I didn't really have an example. Like I was in the comics, but I never like thought about being a comic book artist. So I
Hmm.
was thinking
Mm,
about like professions of like real jobs. And I
yeah.
had an uncle that's a graphic designer, and I had a cousin that was a graphic designer too. So I was like, I'm gonna do graphic design. So when I was in college, I was like, I still want to paint and draw, so I did that. But then I also did graphic design. And what happened was, um, in my senior year, we had like a visiting art director from this advertising agency, White and Kennedy, and they were
Oh,
doing
I know them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're huge. They have Nike and everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was at Wyden for my first year, but so
What year was this? What year were you at Wyden?
this is 2009.
Okay, because one of my professors at SCAD, who he worked in my department when I was teaching, he was our coloring instructor, and he moved from Portland because he worked for Wyden Kennedy and came to SCAD, and now he just colors comics full time for
So
Marvel.
maybe was he in the studio, or he was like in doing the advertising too?
No, he was photo retouching. He was in
Yeah,
that
oh yeah, yeah.
department.
Because
Yeah.
Wyden has a really dope studio. Like it's like its own thing, and they have really talented artists and designers and photo retouchers and stuff. Um, but yeah, like so basically that a presentation that art director, he was actually an art director, a creative director at White and Kennedy Tokyo. He was showing like all kinds of stuff. Like they were making like animated music videos for like they were doing like cool graphic design layouts for Nike, some illustration. So I was like, oh, maybe this is a thing where I can, this is a field where I can use graphic design and illustration and stuff. So I fell into that, and I worked as a New York art director for 7 years, but always on the side, I would like to do my own painting and drawing because that's just what I like the most. And I found myself like I always be pitching illustrations as like the execution of like, oh, we could do, like we're working for MLS. I'd be like, but we could do illustrations of and then I would like draw them myself.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I could do it, and then but so I got out of it by while I had the job, I would do freelance stuff on the side. And after about like 3 years doing freelance stuff on the side, I like decided in my head that I was like, this is enough to leave full time and
Yeah.
be a full time freelance. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
how did that? Go ahead, Matteo.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Okay, no,
No, it's just-
I just want I just wanted to ask. Sorry. Shit. Right time.
I broke Matteo.
You broke me. So I was wondering, were you always really interested in doing something related to still like martial arts, that kind of universe, or unify those two things was something that came up later?
No, it was always martial arts, and that's how I got
Yeah.
in. And it was just lucky that at that time UFC was like kind of on the way up. But so I guess rewinding, I'm a '90s kid, so all the stuff I was into, Ninja Turtles, Street Fighter. I grew up in Hong Kong, so Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan are like heroes. So everything that was cool for me is about martial arts. So like I grew up doing karate. I still do Muay Thai, and obviously when the UFC came, that's like the only sport that I watch. And
Yeah.
so when I was an art director, I would do like fan art, for UFC posters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I wonder. Like, did it start like with you doing fan art, and then they saw it, and then that's where it started, or you started right away? So I was curious to know about all that process.
Yeah, yeah, and I didn't know how lucky I was at the time, but like I've been asked this before, and now like looking back, I was so lucky that the MMA community is so tight online. Now it's kind of mainstream, but it's always been online, like forums, because it's like that's a lot of times that's the only way you can watch it. And it was like revolved around podcasts. Like when Joe Rogan podcast was like they were only talking about MMA, and then people would go to forums talk about it. So basically, the first like fan art that I posted got like on like MMA. It was a Tumblr at the time, MMA Tumblr.
Yeah,
and somebody put on MMA
it became
Reddit.
Super viral.
Yeah, like so easy, like it was just like I was just lucky that it was like a niche, thing. And then I did another one, and like my favorite fighter at the time, and probably one of my favorite fighters, Mark Hunt. He made the artwork that I made of him, his like Facebook profile picture.
Oh,
shit!
And I was like, oh shit, it's Mark Hunt's Facebook profile. And so after that, I got a gig doing like editorial illustrations for Vice, which they had their own like fight column, which was actually pretty big in the community at the time. It was called Fightland. So that was kind of where I got to sort of develop my style, because it was basically I guess like in comic book terms, I'm just doing like pinups, because it's not really illustration. It was just like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do a painting of Mark Hunt or John Jones.
Well, especially because especially in UFC, like you don't have much to do. Like other than that, the cage, like you don't see the athletes in other environments. So there's not a lot to work around.
Yeah. So it was basically I had like no pressure because I had my job, and I didn't have to, and like the editorial is like to really make a living as an editorial, you got to be fast. But I was spending like a week doing these paintings for just like nothing. But I just do experiments. Like I did like an oil painting of Ronda Rousey, and I did like I was doing stuff with pastels. I was just doing different portraits basically. And then for Vice, they were like, oh yeah, this is dope, because they just throw it on the site and it's different than like a photo. So,
absolutely.
I kind of built that up over a couple of years, and I just started getting like other projects because the fight community was really a lot of people read Fightland. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, and you ended up like now basically for every event, you actually like I don't know, maybe only the main ones, the numbered ones. Yeah. But I see every time you do like a big illustration of the event. So and that gets published where? How do they use those images?
So I think for the past maybe 3 or 4 years, UFC's had this. Their art department has a thing called the UFC Artist Series, and they do it. I don't think it's on every like numbered card, but a lot of the big ones, they'll just commission another artist. I feel like you guys got to get on that thing. I'll hit you guys up.
Oh,
later,
that'd be awesome, man.
But
that'd be awesome.
Basically it's always an illustrator, and then they just do like an alternate poster, and it's kind of like their online promo. And in my case, the first couple they would sell. They always make shirts of it for the event, and they sell it on UFC store. When I was doing it maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, they would also sell the poster on the store. But I think after a couple of years, they have the poster at the event. So if you go to the event, you can get the poster. Yeah.
Not to sidetrack this, but when you're doing those gigs and they're printing the posters, are they screen printing or are they like digital printing? Okay.
Yeah, it's just I think it's just like the fight posters
digital-
that you get. They're like super thin
Got you,
posters.
got you,
Which,
got you.
but you know, it's cool because it's kind of like fits in with that language of
Sure.
posters. You know,
Sure.
but
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
like high-end screen print art house posters are for the MMA crowd. I don't know.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I need to ask you like a more of a fan question, because I saw a few months ago the reel when you met Israel Adesanya.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Oh man, finally.
Dude, nice to meet you. Finally.
What's your name? Gian. Okay, I always see the name on Instagram, but I never pronounced it out loud. Gian.
Thought you were paying.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I touch? I've always wanted to know what your texture, because I've seen
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's layers.
Yeah.
So this is like a wood?
Yeah.
It's like a
This
stencil.
This is masonite, and then these are abstract paint pours. I did like 20 of them, and then
Yeah.
I picked like the coolest ones that have like.
Can I have this one?
Yeah, it's for you.
Sign
man.
it for me?
Yeah.
Brother,
Sign
thank
it
you. This is going to my house. This is going to my house.
Sorry,
That was
Shawn.
cool.
Like you don't know what we're talking about, but
Here's the thing,
Uh,
Gian.
I got it.
This
I
is
got
this
it.
is why you're on the show. Matteo has been dying for this. This is his way. Matteo, the floor is yours. Take it away, man. Do your thing.
No, it's just a quick thing.
No, do
like,
it, do
how
it.
was it to meet him? If you got the time
Good.
to spend with him, or just how was it?
No,
Because
so
from
that
what
was,
I hear, like he's a really cool dude, and I mean
Definitely.
he's an amazing fighter, one of the best ever. So
yeah. No, he's so cool, and he's a star. Like he has that
Yeah.
charisma, like straight up. Like he, you know, so we'd known each other on IG. Actually, he because he's like a big art fan and anime fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think
yeah.
like Naruto, he loves Naruto. I know the
Yeah.
other stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So like he followed me on IG before he was in the UFC when he was a kickboxer.
Oh,
And I was
shit.
like, oh, so we were like friends on IG. I mean, you know, just like a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that he was fighting at Madison Square Garden, and I was able for the past couple of years I've been able to, you know, like I bugged them during the Madison Square Garden. I was like, hey, I'm in New York, you know, let's do the Artist Series. And so that it just lined up that he was fighting an MSG versus Pereira, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We just had the idea, you know, because I was working on at that point I'd already started doing my gallery work, so I was working on big paintings, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that would be cool if I did a big painting for the poster, and you know, like it became, you know, we could show it, and they were like, yeah, we could do that, and they're like, you know, his whole team is training actually in New Jersey, so but I had just moved here.
Oh, and by
so
the way, sorry to interrupt, but Jamie
Yeah.
is our editor. Just
Yeah.
a side note for Jamie. Let's show that piece because it's a beautiful piece. So
Cool.
we'll make sure I'll put a note in there so that we can show people because it's a beautiful piece.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So what happened was I lived in Manhattan for the past up until 2 years ago, and now I live about 40 minutes out in New York. Still in New York, but about like 40 minutes out of Manhattan. And they were training like 10 minutes away from my house in this mansion. So like basically during that fight card, it was Izzy and maybe like 4 of his teammates, all from New Zealand. They were all fighting on the same
Yeah.
card. So they had like 40 guys in this. It was like an X-Men mansion. So
the mansion where it's filmed, where the reel is filmed, is that where they were training?
yeah.
Oh,
It was like
shit.
it was just like you know, they Airbnb'd it from this this guy who owns a mansion. And so like I was just like, oh dang, I'll just bring it over. So we planned it out with, you know, the UFC planned it out with they're embedded and all that stuff. And so I basically like strapped the painting to the top of my car and I just drove it over 10 minutes. And then like you know, we get there, there's like I forget what report, you know, like UFC person is like outside.
Yeah.
There's like ESPN is like set up,
Yeah.
you know, in this area with all their camera guys, and then UFC embedded's over here. One of the other teammates is doing an interview, and I just like have this painting.
You just
yeah. Hey guys, I have a painting. But it was so cool. They set me up, you know, like they're like, okay, Izzy's coming back from training now, and you know, we briefed him. But you know, when he comes in, he's like he's like, oh, like it's, even though we were just IG friends, he was like, oh, what's up? Like, like we were boys, maybe look cool. And we talked a little bit about like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, because I brought him one of my Bruce Lee Criterion Collection things, and just real quick, he was asking about how I did the layers and stuff like that, but just like he's a real star, he has the real charisma, and yeah, it was like he's really cool. He's really cool. I guess that's all I could say about him.
That's awesome. And any other people, any other UFC athlete you got to meet through the work?
Man, like a lot actually. So
I'm so fucking envious right now,
dude. So one crazy gig, and ever since COVID, my wife has she works in advertising too. I left. She's a producer in advertising. She's always been able to come with me since COVID to do like murals and stuff like that. But this was nice. One before COVID when she was not there, and this is like one where I wish I had like my friends with me, because I can never talk about this to anybody because nobody else was there. I was like the only one. So it was basically, I was hired at the time. Reebok was the official outfitter of the UFC, and I was doing a lot of stuff for Reebok. I do like shirts and stuff like that, and they used to have this thing called the UFC Athlete Retreat. They don't do it anymore, but basically once a year they fly out all the athletes to like a resort in Vegas, and they'd have like seminars and stuff. So that year they had like Kobe, doing like a business lecture. They had this guy from Shark Tank and so basically maybe like half of the UFC roster is like in a hotel. So it's kind of like, they used to make like some Street Fighter art where it's like all the fighters are like hanging out at a pool or something, where, and like Ryu's this, Blanca's doing, and they're all filled with. That's like how the hotel felt like, because they were just like, the Brazilian guys are over here, and then I'm just in the middle, like doing a live painting, because like Reebok, they hired me to go in, so they're giving out shoes, right? And I'm just like, they're like, we just want you to do some like painting, like as like an entertainment.
That's awesome.
So, and that's not something I really do, but so basically I was like, I need to fly out like 3 days in advance to set it up, because I'm not like fast like that, but I was like, doing like colors and stuff. But dude, that whole time I just like, my adrenaline was like through the roof, because I was just there painting all day, but every time I look around, it's like, oh, there's like Machida. I was like, oh, there's Tyron Woodley.
That's so awesome.
And like, they're not there with their families. They're just like there. They got flown out, and they're just like, what are we doing? So what was cool about that was I was like the only thing there besides Reebok. Like, it's not like, it was like a Comic-Con where there's like a lot of things. I was just like, I'm basically like in the middle of the hotel while, the athletes are waiting for the different seminars to happen. So the ones that were interested in art would come up and talk to me. So, at the time, like Matt Brown came up to me. I think he was like, his brother was like into art and stuff. So he would like talk to me about that. And like Angie
the Immortal.
was, the Immortal. Angela
I have
Hill.
a fish. Like, the fans of the show know it, because before my setup for the space was downstairs, and I have a fish tank with two fish, and I don't take care of the fish bowl like at all. So it would go greener and greener. At a certain point, you couldn't see the two fish at all. And one of them, I call it Matt Brown, because this fish is immortal. Like, he's more than 10 years old now.
Yeah.
It's being used to abuse, like daily abuse. And now it's basically, you can do whatever you want to it, and he's never going to die. That's why I call him Matt Brown.
Dude, yeah. That is Matt Brown. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, so like, basically, I got to meet Matt Brown, the Immortal, and just a lot of them, but the highlight for me, like, I met the whole New York crew, like Weidman, Woodley, like all Joe Lozon, all those guys. And then like, but the big one for me was Machida, because as a kid, I was like a karate kid, and I had already done a portrait of Machida for Fightland, and the Reebok guy, I was friends with the Reebok guys, and they knew that Machida was my guy, so they like brought him over there, and he was like, oh, like we got to talk and take a picture and stuff like that. And I mean, basically they like put me in a situation where I'm just like, oh, what's up? Oh, it was just like a cool spot for me, as opposed to like, when I go to when I've gone to UFC events, I've seen people, but I don't want to like go up to them. Like I was at one point, I did like a poster for UFC Brooklyn, and like Anderson Silva was like right there, but I'm like, I don't want to go up to him, but like being like the artist in the middle was like an awesome situation they put me in, because I could, they would come up to me if they were interested. So it was cool.
Absolutely. My only experience with UFC fighters was in New York. I think it was right before the pandemic. And Shawn, you were there. I don't know if you remember. We were in the hotel and we're about to go upstairs to take the elevator to go upstairs. And right in front of me, there's Rampage Jackson.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, fucking huge. And he's looking another way. And I'm like, Rampage. And he turns. And I was like, I'm a huge fan. I think my voice went up like 2 octaves. Like I became a girl immediately. Yeah. And he was like, he turned and looked at me and I was like this, like, fuck, not this guy. Like with great disdain on his face. Like he was just, he would not have it. He didn't even reply to me. And the worst thing is that we got in the same elevator. So it was an awkward elevator ride. And we get in, he already had his card out, and it goes, you have to, how do you call it, scan the card to get the elevator to go. Yeah. And I was like trembling and I was shaking. I couldn't find my card. He's like, you got your card? I was like, yeah, it should be here. And like, what floor? No, I got it. What floor? And at a certain point, I told him the floor, and we just used his card to use the elevator. I was like, fuck. I made a mess of myself so badly. He had just fought the day before. He had fought. I think it was his last fight against Chael Sonnen. Was a special event. So I don't know if it for Bellator, probably. Yeah, after USC. Yeah, at the end of his career, it was.
So he's huge.
2019. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I think I remember you telling me this. I wasn't with you. Came up to the room, and that's when you told me, right? I wasn't with you in the elevator.
Okay, so probably it was with somebody else.
It might have been. It might have been me. I don't remember, but yeah. I kind of remember this happening. I don't remember if I was there or not, but yeah.
Okay, Shawn. Okay, we're done with the UFC.
You don't even have to be. If it comes up again.
Gian, I wanted to ask you this other thing. Since you said it yourself, you're a big comic book fan as well. Have you ever thought or even tried to do, or is there a comic book plan, a plan for doing comic books in the future? Like, have you ever tried? What's the situation there?
Well, first of all, I'm definitely like a single image guy, because I know a lot of comic book artists, and I'm not like you guys, like I can make like cool single images and I need like a week or so, but I've seen how you guys, and I'm just like, dang, that's a different skill, that's a different martial art right there. But I mean, dude, it would be, it's like definitely a bucket list thing to do, like some cover, like all variant cover or whatever for like, the.
Have you ever done covers for comic books?
So I did like an indie one for this martial arts related comic book called it's called Immortal Studios. So the variant cover I did was for Assassin G, which is pretty cool. I did like an assassin lady, but you know what? I actually have had some comic book related projects. I did actually 2 Wolverines. I did one Wolverine for Fortnite. I don't know if you like sometimes Fortnite does like
we've both done those loading
we
both
screens.
done them.
Yeah. So they did a Marvel crossover like probably 3 years ago, and I got to do the Wolverine one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was hyped about that. I was like, yes. And then I did one for Sideshow too. So Sideshow
Oh,
you know,
nice.
the sculptures,
Yeah.
they do art
Yeah.
prints too.
Yeah.
And sometimes they commission artists, which and you know, I was lucky to do like a Ronin Wolverine for them.
Oh, nice.
Um,
That's nice.
but I mean, you know, I'm still like, that would be dope to get like one of the Marvel DC covers like in the comic book store. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that'd be dope.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you, do
absolutely.
you ever go to New York Comic Con?
I go every year. Yeah, I mean, but as
Oh,
a
okay.
fan, you know.
That's where we actually met. Like,
yeah.
the way we met, it was funny because I was sitting at my table, and at a certain point, there's a guy, Alberto Marchetti, is his name. He's an Italian guy, so he saw that I was Italian, read my name, and he had bought something like the day before or something. So he wanted to exchange a few words with me. So we started talking in Italian, and I find out that he's basically the founder of Manto, which is a great, like a big brand for grappling clothing and stuff.
I remember this.
And
I remember you meeting that guy. Yeah.
I don't think I. Oh, go ahead, Gian.
No, and half sumo. I think that's like
half sumo. Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Is he still in Manto, or did he sell the company? I don't know.
No, Manto's still around, but he's more into half sumo now. Yeah, he actually was involved in a lot of BJJ brands. He's like he's like a lifelong BJJ guy. And that's how actually we met. I did they hired me to do a painting of Kid Yamamoto about maybe almost 10 years ago for Manto. But what happened was when I moved out here, you know, out of the city 2 years ago, I remembered Alberto lives like 8 minutes away from my house. He also like in the same area, so he's like my only friend out here. So So and he found out I go to Comic-Con, and he's like a big comic book fan too. So we just went together. Yeah.
And that's how we met. Like I realized that he was the guy. Like I actually own like 2 or 3 things that I used back when I used to train jiu-jitsu. And
I didn't
then
know
we
you
started
used to do
talking,
BJJ.
and then you were I used to do it before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened. Then I got a kid, and you know, it's unfortunately I don't have time for it anymore. But I wish I could go back to it, but it's not happening right now. But but you were stopping by because you guys were together at the show, so you introduced you to me, and that's when it all started. So I started following you, and it's fucking. I saw your stuff. It's
I was amazing. Like, because Alberto was like, "There's a lot of Italians here," and he was like, I should get a sketch. I was like, wait, let me show you who the dope guys are. So you know, I was like, you go to Matteo and you know. All you guys, so
that's awesome. And so you told us before we started recording, like you're currently doing Mondo posters, is that right?
Yeah, a couple. I have a couple. I have another Fortnite screen that I'm working on now. I'm doing something for The Last of Us, like a print and a poster through a gallery.
Through a gallery. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like this year is kind of like more entertainment related stuff, and I always have some fight stuff going on. But yeah, it's been getting more entertainment stuff this year, I think.
So how do you handle your works, like your gigs? Do you do many things at a time, or like you do one thing, then another project, then another project? How does it work usually in that kind of industry?
So the ideal scenario for me is I have one in each of like my 3 stages, like one project where I'm doing thumbnails, one project where like the full like color comp, and then one where I'm like painting, because it's just like I feel like when you bounce around, especially between different kind of projects, you can like have more like a bird's eye view. And so I could be like,
that's interesting.
Oh, I need to make these changes to these changes, as opposed to like if I just have like a deadline on one thing and I have to spend like all day on one thing, I'm just like hyper focusing on it. But as a freelancer, it's just always random, So I think what's been happening recently, ever since I did so. ever since maybe like 2021, so maybe like for the past like 4 years, I've started doing gallery work. I've had three gallery shows so far. Before that, it was just
Nice.
full illustration. But now that I'm starting to do gallery stuff, um, it's kind of like I'm always working on new paintings just for whatever my next show is. I had my last show last year, so now I'm just like sort of just making new paintings for whatever's coming next. And then when I get a freelance project, I work on that. And then,
Yeah.
just kind of like my gallery stuff like fills in the gaps a little bit.
Yeah.
But my secret weapon is my wife, she's a professional advertising producer. So her thing is like getting everything in line, like creative schedules and everything. So like
Okay.
she's like on all my emails, and she helps me with the like budgets and stuff like that.
Wow.
Because
That's
like,
good to have.
oh my God, I mean that's my secret weapon right there. Like especially like when you're getting like advertising jobs, like determining what the budgets are and stuff. It's a hard conversation to have a lot of times, but because she works with directors and photographers, not so many illustrators, but at least she can have an idea of like, oh, this is this kind of shoot, they probably have this, or this kind of usage, etc. So yeah.
Gotcha. And I was curious to, since you mentioned the gallery shows, how does that work? Like, since I'd never done it, like, I'm curious, how does the whole thing works? Meaning, from the beginning, from the start, is there a gallery that contacts you and then tells you, hey, we saw your stuff, and then what happens from then on? Like, I would love to know about the process, whatever you can tell. Like, if there's stuff that you can't tell, just no worries. But
No, totally.
curious.
Like, so what I've learned is there's lots of ways, but the way that it happened to me was the owner of this Gallery Nucleus, was really into boxing. So he found out about my work. What I found is a lot of the projects that I get are like some art director or creative directors in the MMA or something, and that's how they know about my work. And they hire me for something else. And that's worked for like so many genres. Like, I got a Game of Thrones gig like that, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, I'm a big MMA fan," and I'm like, "Oh cool."
Yeah.
Gallery, the owner of Gallery Nucleus, Ben, was into boxing, and he had known about my work, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to do a show? Have you ever done a show?" And I'd never done gallery stuff, but I've always been interested. So for me, my kind of like North Stars as artists are like James Jean and Tristan Eden, and that the reason is because like I feel like they're kind of doing their own path outside of the traditional routes, in that they can do gallery stuff, they can do commercial stuff, like Tristan does murals, and they kind of do it on their own terms. And I feel like that's like the goal, like I want to do everything, so so I was like, I want to do gallery stuff because like I love I love the commercial work that I get, because I'm like a MMA fan. I'm like a fan of all these properties, but I also want to do like my own stuff. I want to be able to like make a painting and then have just somebody buy it just because they think it's cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I've worked with Gallery Nucleus. I guess getting into technical stuff, usually you make a body of work, and I guess it just depends how much the gallery wants, but Gallery Nucleus is kind of a big space, especially compared to New York galleries, which are usually like one room. Nucleus is in LA. And,
I know Nucleus. That's a really prestigious, nice gallery.
Oh yeah, so you know what? That's the other thing. Nucleus. I was so fortunate for Nucleus because it's mostly illustrators. I'm kind of like outside of the normal Nucleus artists, because a lot of those guys are in the animation and concept art industry, and even comic books too. I think actually right now they have like a Marvel exhibition of like a lot of cover artists, I think, actually
Oh,
right now.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but so I'm kind of like a little bit outside the spectrum, but the collectors in that market are like, they like, representational, more illustrative work.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if this is how it works for all artists, but because I'm kind of like a project guy, I like made like a game plan. Like I'm gonna make
Yeah.
3 of these, and then I kind of made. I was like, I made like even the thumbnails of all of it, and I was like, I'm gonna work towards this. We did it like almost a year, and we almost do it like a year out or half a year out,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
it's then we have the opening. It's usually like kind of standard is like 50-50 split with the gallery.
Right. That's
Mhm.
good. Yeah.
And then we make prints at Nucleus, different thing. I think for my first show we did pins and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And what else? Yeah. Do you have any other questions about the gallery? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I got a couple.
Yeah.
Like, usually, how long do you
Yeah.
keep your pieces for, an exhibition on a gallery? Is that like a month, or it depends? Like, it's something that you discuss with the gallery.
Yeah, it's usually for Nucleus, it's 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks. Okay,
Yeah, because
gotcha.
they're busy. Yeah, like they got a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah.
And what's your process to decide? Because as you were describing it, it's not like, for example, if a gallery asked me, I would put out the stuff that I already have, that I published through the publishers, and here's my stuff. Let's say, okay, let's do a Black Science one. Okay, here's 50, 60 pages from Black Science or whatever. In your case, you're building up the whole show, so you gotta think about the concept. What's the process like for you, since you're saying that you already had 3 shows? So
I'll tell you, they were all
like?
different. So I'll tell you. So the first one was pretty much 100% built up. Because I was like, it has to be all fighting, because I feel like that's all I was doing. At least like 4 years ago. And I was like, well, I got to do more fighting stuff. So I basically, so that's easy. I'm like, I'm going to do, but so I'm just going to do like my stuff, but they won't be like actual, they'll be like, made up people, or more abstract. You can't see their face and stuff. So I was like, okay, that's easy. I'll do like a striking, a wrestling, and I did all these things. And then I had a couple like big pieces, like I did a Thriller in Manila. I did like a 6-foot
nice.
painting of like,
Nice.
Foreman Ali, and then I did that was kind of easy. So the second one was all wushu, like which is like the modern Chinese art of like Chinese kung fu, which is like forms, it's basically like wushu is basically like a gymnastics floor routine, but it's all like kung fu. It's big in China, but what had happened was that year I'd done a bunch of wushu work because I did a mural in our Chinatown, and that's when I first started doing like a wushu thing, and I got like this NFT opportunity, which like I know a lot of people got burned on that, but it worked out for me. Because
That's great.
Oh no, trust
Whoever
me,
it
it worked out with me too.
congrats.
So
nice, nice.
Yeah, I got that small way in which
me too.
I got something, and then it went away.
Yeah,
so.
me too.
It's pretty happy. I got insulted a couple of times, but I don't give a fuck.
yeah. I was like, dude, this is helping me make more work. But basically, I had an opportunity with so Crypto.com is like one of the biggest UFC sponsors. They all come out with. And so like they knew about my work, and so so I did like an NFT thing with, like right at the end of when it was like hot. So I like just got it, and I was like, fuck yeah. And so I did. So that was, they were like, whatever you want. So I was like, I'll just do a bunch of wushu paintings. So I did like a bunch. Like I did 3 like big. I mean, well, it wasn't only for that. I had been doing my own work on the side, but I did a lot more for that. And then basically and NFTs are just digital. So I just had all these paintings in my house, and so I was like, why don't we do like an art show with that? So that one was mostly, work that I created, and then I made some more paintings to like round it out. And so that was like, a little mix. And then the last show I had last year was actually mostly work that I had made. So I sold I sold like my original Bloodsport that I made for Mondo. I did I had my Fortnite, a different Fortnite, not the Wolverine out there. I had done a bunch of fighting paintings for a brand that I had the originals too. So it was a little bit more of a mix of like commercial work, like kind of like where you were saying, Matteo, where but I felt like, when you see them all together, it's all like people fighting and stuff. So it's like there's kind of like,
so there, you can still see a common theme. Well, aside from the fact that you did them all, so there's still a common theme, which is it still works.
Do you only show at Nucleus, or have you shown at other galleries too?
I've only done group shows with other galleries, but I've only had those 3 solo shows with Nucleus. Yeah, I mean, I love to. Yeah,
go ahead.
I'd love to do a New York one because not have to like ship everything, but it's like
I was gonna ask.
I just don't know. I don't know. I go to like, especially when I was preparing for my gallery shows, I wanted to like go to a lot of the New York galleries and kind of get a vibe, like how will I do the signage and stuff. But I just I feel like there's not a lot of. I mean, there is figurative art in New York galleries, but maybe not so much like illustrative or we
found a gallery last year that would be great. Do you remember the name of that gallery, Matteo?
No, I actually saw another post recently. They basically for past
Paul
October.
Paul Pope was just there.
Now they have Paul Pope. Back then, a few months ago, they had Mignola.
So I just heard about them. Like, and I haven't gone to the.
He's
Paul
a
Pope
French
one.
guy.
Yeah. But I imagine that's like legends only. I was like, they got Mignola and Paul Pope. I'm like, dang, that's gonna be hard to get into that one. But
maybe, but it's worth a try, or at least like maybe he has contacts. But I guess in my head, like every gallery owner knows each other in New York, so maybe he might know somebody else who might be interested. Because when we visited the Mignola one, we started talking to him about the possibility of doing something with our agency. Essential Sequential.
Oh man, I mean, you guys are. I mean, you guys are definitely,
but
do something awesome over there.
We have his contact info. If you want it, we could pass it on because it would be. I think it'd be a good conversation for you to have at least.
So I'm always open.
So Gian, I have a technical question from a person who doesn't paint. Like, my paintings are covers and they're really small, so I end up using more or less the same tools over and over. I saw there was a video. I don't remember if it was the Adesanya painting or another one, where you started everything with just laying down the blacks, the values, the black and white, and you used a sort of spatula. But I don't understand. It looked like round point. I don't know what it was. It was almost charcoal, but the shape of a spatula, but it was thicker, at least from what I saw from the video. So I might be wrong.
I got
it was just a spatula.
I mean, I have a bunch of these things. They're just like kitchen.
They're spatulas.
They're spatulas. They're spatulas. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I have a bunch of these random things. Hold on. Let me see. Where's that thing?
Is that all spray paint on the wall?
That's an actual kitchen spatula, or
so the first one was one of our like wedding gifts. Like we get a whole set of like the things, and I was like, hey, I asked him, I was like, we don't use this. I was like, let me. So it came from George Pratt again because he would do stuff with he would do stuff with a putty knife. Like he did this one demo where he did the whole painting with a putty knife. And so his whole thing was
what's a putty knife?
a putty knife is what you use for like spackling. So I got one. It's like just like it's like this one, but
Gotcha,
the difference. So it's like a hard edge.
Yeah.
But what I was finding, so like the whole like philosophy behind using stuff that is harder, I guess, is you have to be like more gestural and you get more like happy mistakes, as opposed to like if you have a tight, you have the precision, but then it's kind of like, you get what you put down. Whereas, what I told you guys, like George's philosophy, he's like, you should work to create the whole image and then you like maybe refine. So, when he would do stuff with a putty knife, he would just be like he would have cool exercises where he'd be like, you have to do this figure, but you can only do like 8 black strokes and like 8 white strokes. So you have to be like, this is the body, this is the thing. And you're kind of like, when you have something like that, you're like, oh, cool. I can kind of make the shape, in one motion as opposed to like doing, so like, so that's kind of like the philosophy. That's how I like to start. But then, I always have like just the agony phase because I kind of like certain things to be more precise. So my process is kind of like, I feel like George's process is like the pure way where he just like, he has his reference and then he just like lays it down and boom, that's it. So I used to work like that when I did editorial. And then I would scan it in and I would like fix proportions, I maybe I'm like, oh shit, maybe the head needs to be a little bit smaller because like, the advantage of having the reference and then just going for it is you have 100% of the cool gesture, right? But the precision is, unless you really know what you're doing, you can't, it's harder. So I used to, especially when it's editorial, I would lay it down and then scan it and then make little adjustments and stuff. But then I wouldn't have a final piece that's perfect. In my sense.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So then when I started doing gallery stuff, what I do is I start with a projection. I do the lines, and then I would do the rough stuff on top of it. So I'd have like a little framework, and then I like get more precise, on there. But it's basically having for me, it's like I like the spontaneity and the unexpected, like marks that you get. But then I also like things to be really tight too. So it's that balance. Yeah.
Have you, Gian, have you done anything for screen print or?
Yeah.
Is your Mondo stuff screen printed?
Yeah. But luckily for me, they have like wizards over there.
Okay.
And they do the separations. Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask because I'm doing some stuff for screen print now, but I'm so like I want to learn the separation process, so I'm coloring it for screen print, so they don't have to do anything. Yeah,
so I've done separations before, but when I did it, and I was pretty happy with the results because I like did a tutorial online, and basically I did the, where you make it into like little dots, basically. But that's like old school. Like the way they do it now is they have like transparent layers, transparent inks.
I've been doing that too.
So it's like, and I just don't know how to do that. But luckily, when I've had stuff to be screen printed, like I did like a Wu-Tang poster a couple of years ago.
That's what I'm doing now.
You guys are doing that. Yeah, a lot of dope artists are getting on this year. But I did one last year or 2 years ago, and they had their own separator.
Yeah. So that
So I've been spoiled, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm excited about learning it. Like it's got me thinking. Like I want to do screen prints, like mostly now for my prints and stuff.
So let's describe screen print for a second.
All right,
especially because I don't really know about it. So
all right. So screen printing is basically for every color you have, there's a silk screen that they put basically a mask on, and every color has its own screen. So you put the mask on for your black, and you burn that in with the art, and then whatever other colors you choose, every time you add a color, it gets more expensive, and it's very limited in terms of what it can do. So every time you do a screen print, you have to think about the budget. Can I do 1 color, 2 color, 3 color, like 4 color? It's getting crazy, but you can do tricks that turn 2 colors into 4 colors. So one thing you can do, which Gian was explaining, was you can use halftones. So like if I have a yellow and then I have a magenta on my poster, I can make an orange by putting the yellow down and then doing a magenta halftone on top. Or I can put the layers on top of each other, not in a halftone, set it to multiply so it's like transparent. And so the separator like has all these layers and makes the screens accordingly.
Yeah, and the upside to the screen print is the quality, like the beauty of the images, like the brightness
it's print
of the
making.
colors.
Yeah, it's not like a G-clay or laser print. It's more like a hand done feel to it. It's like the art of printmaking, and it's beautiful. But for clothing, nothing lasts as long as a screen printed image. Like all the digital printing on clothing looks great, but it doesn't last as long, and screen printing like lasts forever. So that's another benefit of it. But for prints, it's more high end, more artistic almost.
Yeah, like and the advantage of screen printing too is you can do different effects. Like, so I don't know if you guys ever went to the collections booth or so at New York Comic Con. I mean, you guys are probably so busy,
Basically, I actually like
we're at a table,
the only
and
time
we're
I
at lunch.
saw the booth area of New York was the first year because I was not tabling in Artist Alley. And it was like 2010. And then since 2011 to this day, I'd never seen that area.
I have not been on the main floor.
Because we basically chained to our table.
No, I'm gonna grab you guys next this year, and then we got to go to some, because like Bottleneck Gallery always has theirs, so they're in the block area, and there's some screen printing guys.
Dude, let's do this. This sounds great. I would love to see this stuff.
You got to check it out. Like so Collections, the company that did the Wu-Tang stuff, man. If you see their stuff, it's like they'll do stuff with like you'll really see what it means to have like use different effects in screen printing. Like it can be very subtle or very big. Like I think they did like maybe a Biggie poster with like, and like the chain is like metallic or something. Or like
I mean, they've talked to me about if I want to do a glow in the dark ink or a spot gloss, or even like the paper, like you can do like a metallic tinted paper. You can use a metallic ink. Like you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah.
And it's different than just like, maybe like a foil comic book cover or something, because you get the different sheens. So like if you just get stuff laser printed, it's always shiny, but like a comic book cover. So, I'm used to that aesthetic, so I like that. But when you get stuff G-clay printed, because it's matte, it's like, mostly matte. It looks more like you're painting if you have a like physical painting, because it's not shiny, right?
Right.
And then, but with screen printing, you can do like kind of everything. You could have like one layer be matte, and then if you have like a spot area that you want to be, like more glossy, or you could have like they had this thing where it was like black, a matte black, and they had like a shiny black, but like a texture on top of it, so it looked like there was kind of like rippling or something like that.
Nice. And you can use fluorescent inks too, like black light inks you can use. Like it's cool. It's fun stuff.
So, you got to plan more though. So
that's what I like about it. Also, I love everything that feels more hand done, and everyone's doing this like laser printing and it looks great. But now I'm looking and I'm like, that's more along my lines of craft driven stuff. So I want to get into that more.
Yeah, and it's cool if you ever go to one of those presses, because you just like see them come out, and you're like, oh dang, it's like a art factory kind of.
Yeah, there's. I
Yeah.
found one in Atlanta. It's about 20 minutes from me that I'm gonna try to set some stuff up with. And if I can get some stuff done, I want to do it for New York Comic Con and bring some screen prints to sell.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Speaking of shows, Gian, have you ever thought about tabling at a comic book show?
So I did
all?
New York Comic Con one year, maybe like
Oh shit.
three or 4 years ago. And it was because I had done like a Wolverine thing. I did like a Ninja Turtle thing. I did I did like maybe like 4 entertainment-y things, and I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I could get in with this, and I got in, and you know, I think it was also sort of like not the pandemic year, but you know, sort of around there. So it's probably easier to get in. You know, I probably can't get in right now, but it was like easier to get in, and then they sent me an email if I want to go the next year, but I was like, I feel like I have the same stuff. Like, I mean, I had done a lot of fighting stuff, and I didn't want to. I felt like kind of like a poser being there with just like, you know, not the like, you know, cool comic book stuff. So
Well,
I haven't
but
really
it could be cool because it's not like if you go to an artist alley, I mean, you've seen it yourself. Like a lot of stuff is just comic book or manga fan art, basically. So it'd be cool to see something different. I think it pops up. I mean, I don't know how well you did back then when you tabled at New York, but I think it'd be cool. But I mean, I'm definitely partial because I love, you know, martial arts, especially MMA. So I would love to see.
Yeah. I mean, it was good.
Prints.
Yeah, and I would do. Yeah, I guess I would do it again. It's just, I mean, you know,
You should.
Yeah, maybe I would. Yeah, I would try it.
Why not?
I'd try again. Yeah,
Why not? But look, this year, if you're gonna come, please come by and see us at the table.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I go every year. So.
Awesome. So we'll definitely see you there. So we've done our hour. Is there anything you wanted to mention or talk about that you haven't yet?
Not really. I mean, like, so I have a couple Mondo releases. We just last week we did a Naruto poster with Mondo, which I was a little hesitant about because I'd never done like an anime, so I was like, is this gonna work with my style? But I felt like you know, I thought it came up, you know, pretty well, and I was able to like use my style, but you know, have the anime feel, and I got to do like the ninja moves, all the exaggerated ninja moves.
Nice, that's fun stuff.
And then I got it's not out yet, but you know, I have a Godzilla poster coming out with Mondo.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you did any Godzilla. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
I can see your stuff looking really cool like that.
Yeah.
So by the time the episode is out, well, I mean, the Naruto one is out already. So so let's make sure, let's put a pin in there for Jamie, for our editor, so we'll show them actually.
Okay, cool.
And can we show the Godzilla one as well, or that's not out yet, or it's gonna
That's
be
not out
yet?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, I have some stuff coming out, but you know, nothing really to promote. I have some prints and stuff on my site, but that's pretty much it.
All right, and we'll put
your website
social...
is giangalang.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description and your socials. All right.
You.
So you've watched the show. You know what's about to happen, I assume. So
I'm ready.
I don't need to warn you. Matteo, take us out of here.
Before I go, Gian, it was a great pleasure. Thanks a lot for joining us.
This was great. Thank you.
I'm so honored, and I like I told you guys before, I'm a big fan of the show, and I'm listening to you guys all the time, so it's weird to be on here.
That's cool.
Awesome,
definitely.
man.
We
Looking
look forward to meeting you in New York.
New York, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right.
I'll see you guys.
You guys ready?
Yes. gonna pass out one day.
It's a record.
The Inkpulp Podcast.